Welcome back. Right now we are joined by Justin Janoska. He focuses on autoimmune diseases and more in a revolutionary way. Very much looking forward to meeting Justin, finding out more behind what motivates him and how he's helping others. Thanks for being here today. How are you?
My pleasure. Thank you, Christine. I'm great.
So Justin, tell me more about what you do and how you've gotten to where you are.
Well, the Reader's Digest version of this is that my mom has an autoimmune disease known as Hashimoto's. And when I went into graduate school, I had the interest of learning about alternative medicine for cancer. That's what I wanted to do with my career. But then I found out the treacherous journey my mom was going through in her health and not getting answers with her disease. And she had a lot of debilitating problems and symptoms. And so for me, I just knew that I had to change the course of my path and figure out what to do for her because she wasn't getting any help and it was devastating. So that's pretty much how it started for me. And ever since then, I've been able to pretty much help her get into a place where she's healing and she's in recovery and she's maintaining that. And it really sparked me from that point to want to help others with this because it blew my mind by how prevalent autoimmune disease is, especially Hashimoto's. And to this day, there's no shortage of it at all. And a lot of people need help. And that's really why I do this work. My purpose has been to help women heal and get the results they deserve to have.
It's really interesting and powerful that you took that care for your mom and concern and shifted it and created a career for yourself out of this. I imagine at the beginning you felt pretty helpless, and that's what set you on this journey. Tell me a little bit more about why autoimmune diseases are so hard, just for everyone, honestly.
It's a great question. It's hard because one, mainly being that the allopathic model and conventional medicine that isn't working for a lot of people, and at least it's not a full solution. It's just part of it. And so we're not really aware of real alternatives and solutions that are in the evidence. It's in the literature, it's all there, it's just not mainstream. So a lot of people are feeling helpless and feel like they can't do anything about it, or they're doomed, or it's their genes, or it's those sort of ways of explaining it. But the truth is there's a way to reverse this, to control it. It's all with lifestyle management. And that's really the one thing you control over. But we have to really be aware of that. And if we're not, then we're kind of we're losing our opportunity to change our health.
When you look back at this journey with you, your career, your mom, what are some main takeaways? I know it's hard to, this has been going on for so long, but when you look back, what do you remember the most? And what are those lessons that stand out to you?
Well, I remember my mom really just being very tenacious and committed to figuring this out. And that's the one quality about her that I love. And I think I have that too, which is why I do what I do. But she was never going to give up on this. And she put a lot of weight into trusting something new and different, which is hard for a lot of people. So I introduced her to naturopathic medicine, alternative medicine, because I have nothing to lose at this point. And so, for me, that was a pivotal point in her journey. And then really uncovering, I could go on and on about this, but the gist of it is that really learning about the deeper psychological, emotional pains and traumas that were underpinning this, which a lot of people don't really know they have, or they're aware of it and don't know how to heal those sort of things. But that's a very, very big common theme I see even to this day with clients, and how unresolved trauma really since childhood and even later really underpins a lot of this stuff. And that was a missing ingredient in her healing journey that we had to integrate.
And now with your business, how are you specifically helping others, especially those that struggle in similar ways with autoimmune diseases in similar ways as your mom?
Well, I'm fortunate enough to have some really great people on my team who well, some of them were former clients actually, and decided to take their pain and turn it into purpose, which is amazing in my opinion. And so they do this work and they help our clients learn how to heal and get into remission. But they are women and clinicians and practitioners who have Hashimoto's or other autoimmune diseases and trauma, even for that matter. So I think that's great because I'm not somebody who necessarily has those things. I'm not a female, but I can offer different insights and healing tools and obviously their experiences, my coaches that is, can help and inform and help others with their relatability. So I think that's been monumental for us.
And I know a bulk of your focus is on weight and nutrition. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the thing with it's interesting for me is that I went to school, grad school for nutrition, so I have a lot of knowledge in that area. But I kind of deviated from that because I realized that a lot of the issues with weight, for example, are not so much about nutrition and diet and exercise, but those are important variables for sure. But for people who don't get results with just that, we have to look deeper. And so that's where we look at trauma and emotions and unresolved pain and things like that, because I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, those are major variables and roadblocks to seeing any improvements in symptoms, weight loss, or even controlling your autoimmune disease. So I integrate all these variables. It's not one or the other, but it's just something I want to point out.
And it sounds like to me that you're taking an entire picture of a person in a sense. You're considering all the variables to help them feel the absolute best that they want to be, not comparing them to others or not wanting them to be at a certain standard set by society. It's really about them personally, and you take the time to figure that out.
Yeah, I think that's a real important thing to keep in mind, is that people are fine as they are. You know, my thing is I don't tell people what to do. I let them be who they are. And I'm just kind of, as I say jokingly, I'm like guiding them down the path as their Sherpa, their tour guide, whatever you want to call me. And I'm helping them find their true authentic self, right? The part of them that's always been there, the wise self, and allowing that to run the show of their life. But when we haven't had access to that because of our past experiences and whatnot, it gets overshadowed, right? So that's really what I'm doing. And then all of a sudden, a lot of this transformation happens on its own without me really doing so much. It's really quite magical to watch once you're in it.
Justin, what are some of your personal goals with your business, with other things that are happening for you? Where do you hope to be in another year, 5 years?
Well, I'm enrolling back into school at the beginning of this, end of this year, perhaps. So I'm getting my doctorate in health sciences with a focus on trauma counseling, actually. So I'm doing that because it's really important for me to help people understand the significance of trauma and how it fits into our health and our disease states, because it does not get discussed enough. So I'm really excited about that. And really for me, it's just about progressing and bringing this information and support to as many women as possible, because this autoimmune disease stuff is not going anywhere. It's only getting more increasing in incidence every single year, and it has been since I finished school 7 years ago. So that's my mission, and I'm going to do my best to help as many as I can, and it's the best I can do.
And where can we get more information about you, connect with you, be inspired by you?
Yeah, sure. Our website is theautoimmunerevolution.com. We have all of our resources and a lot of free things I give away because I want to give as much value as I can to people, especially on social media, on Instagram. If you find me there, you can find a ton of resources I give out, and I talk to everybody. I'm very personal like that. So don't be a stranger, reach out. My name is Justin Janoska. You can find me on there, and we're happy to help out any way I can.
Well, Justin, it's been a pleasure meeting you today. I'm really impressed with how challenges that you've had in your life with yourself, with family members, it hasn't held you back. In fact, it's really defined your goals, where you're going, and you've used that to be able to help many people. So I appreciate your time today, and I know you'll continue to help others on your journey, and so glad that you're open to share about that. We'll be back with more right after this.